Divinely chosen. Secrets revealed. What they say about you is prophetic and miraculous. In a quaint rural village nestled among rolling hills, whispers of divine possibility wafted through the air like the gentle breeze. All eyes turned to the humble chapel dedicated to St. Jude, the patron saint of hopeless causes. Inside, a devoted mother named Sarah lay bedridden, paralyzed by a debilitating illness. As days bled into hopeless nights, the people of the village began to murmur among themselves. They speculated about miracles, healing, and the possibility that Sarah was divinely chosen. Could her suffering lead to a miraculous revival? They wondered, their hearts stoking the flames of faith even as doubts began to creep in. Rumors swirled, and skepticism hung heavy in the warm air. The quaint congregation that once surrounded her with love and encouragement now hesitated, doubting the authenticity of her potential healing. The local doctor's dire pronouncements echoed louder than any prayer, casting shadows over her family. Yet Sarah held tight to her hope, for within her chapel's walls, she felt warmth beyond the world, something shimmering. Perhaps a divine light drawing near. On a stormy evening, dark clouds covering the sky, a drizzle began to fall. The chapel was filled with villagers, their hearts heavy as they engaged in prayer. As Sarah sat in the front row, an elderly priest approached her. His wise eyes twinkled with divine assurance. His voice rose above the mounting tension. "Take heart, daughter. Divine intervention is upon you, and your family's fortunes shall be restored." Those words hung in the air, crackling like electricity, fueling disbelief and wonder simultaneously. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The very fabric of faith wavered, shaken by echoes of doubt. Yet within Sarah's heart, a righteous fire kindled. She gathered her children close, and in that sacred space, they bowed their heads. "Right here, right now," she whispered, eyes glistening with tears. As they called upon the power of St. Jude, a shimmering light enveloped them, pushing through the doubt, dancing across the stained glass windows, illuminating faces that reflected belief. As prayers intensified, the atmosphere shifted. Murmurs of hope intertwined with the vibrations of desperation, creating a melody that softened once hardened hearts. A warmth crept in. It enveloped the chapel as lights flickered gently. The golden hue brightened the room, wrapping each soul in a divine embrace. Faith was not merely a passive heart stance. It pulsated with energy, whispering promises of the divine. In awed silence, the congregation shared stories of past miracles. Each testimony breathed life into hope, building a bridge over the chasm of skepticism. Yet just as the air thickened with anticipation, the atmosphere felt precarious, as if they were dangling on the edge of a great revelation, a reckoning of faith against reason. But Sarah and her family still faced uncertainty. Would tomorrow's dawn bring healing? Would their cries rise to the heavens? The question shimmered like a distant star in the darkness, an invitation to step deeper into faith's embrace. The miraculous unknown lay ahead, waiting to intertwine with their struggles, awaiting their response. The journey beyond the doors of the chapel felt wild, unsettling, and divinely mysterious. Who knew what awaited them just around the corner? As dawn broke over the sleepy village, a soft light spilled in through the stained glass windows of the chapel. The gentle hues of morning painted the room with a palette of hope, whispering promises of new beginnings. Sarah lay awake, the weight of uncertainty heavy on her heart. Yet deep within her, she felt an stirring, a presence shimmering just beyond her reach. Something was about to change. The villagers began to gather outside, their faces a mixture of anticipation and anxiety. Sarah's children, still half asleep, looked at their mother, their eyes wide with both fear and hope. "Mom, do you think today is the day?" Her youngest son, Timothy, asked, his innocent question hanging in the air like a prayer. Sarah smiled softly at him, her heart swelling with warmth. Could be, my love. Remember, faith is like a seed. It may seem small and fragile, but with love and patience, it can grow into something beautiful. Just then, the church bell rang out, its rich tone echoing through the stillness of the morning. It called the people together, beckoning them to unite in faith. As the villagers filed in, a sense of expectancy filled the air. Old Martha, the village elder, shuffled to the front, her gnarled hands clasped in prayer. She raised her voice above the murmurs. Today, we gather not just for Sarah, but for every weary soul among us. We come together to lift our voices, to unite in purpose. Let this be the day of miracles. With every word she spoke, the energy in the room shifted. It was as if a current of divine grace flowed through them all, weaving hearts together in a sacred tapestry of belief. As the congregation began to pray, their voices forming a rising tide, Sarah felt a stirring inside her. The warmth enveloped her, sinking deep into her bones. She closed her eyes and surrendered it all to God, her burden released with every whispered prayer. In the depth of that moment, she sensed something powerful approaching, something tangible shading her spirit with peace. What happened next is difficult to describe. A hush fell over the assembled crowd, and lights dimmed and brightened rhythmically, like a heartbeat. The air thickened, almost tangible, buzzing with divine electricity that lifted people from their seats as they gazed toward Sarah. Suddenly, she felt an overwhelming force within her, a liquid warmth that coursed through her veins. A gentle voice, as clear as a bell, reverberated in her thoughts. Rise, dear daughter. Your faith has healed you. In that moment, the chapel became a sanctuary of miracles. Gasps of amazement spread through the gathered souls, their eyes wide as they witnessed something extraordinary. Sarah's limbs, once bound by paralysis, began to respond. The life she thought lost sparked anew, igniting her spirit and causing a wave of joy that resonated through the congregation. Stumbling slightly, she rose from her seat, tears streaming down her cheeks, the crowd erupting with cheers and praises to the Almighty. They danced, they sang. Each soul in attendance could feel the divine presence coursing through them, transforming doubts and fears into fervent gratitude. Yet, even amid the jubilation, questions loomed large. What would this healing mean for Sarah? How would it change the community that had rallied around her? As Sarah stood there, bathed in faith and love, the light around them flickered, beckoning the next chapter's unfolding. There was still more to learn, more revelations to be embraced. What else did the divine plan for her and the village? What challenges would arise from this miraculous change? The answers loomed just beyond the reach of understanding, inviting each heart to step deeper into the unknown. The rapture in the chapel bubbled with joy, and for a moment, Sarah felt as if she stood at the very edge of heaven itself. Not only had her body been restored, but an essence of divine purpose bloomed within her, beckoning her to step forward into an unknown future. She could feel the weight of expectation from her village and the love that wrapped around her like a warm embrace. Yet, even amidst the sunshine of blessings, shadows of doubt danced at the fringes of her mind. What now? Would the villagers gaze at her change? Could she truly live up to the miracles unfolding before them? Her heart raced with each pulse of exhilaration. She was alive like never before, yet somehow, she felt quietly transformed. "Mama!" Timothy ran to her, his small hands tightly gripping her skirt, as if afraid she might float away. His face radiated pure delight, and those innocent eyes spoke volumes. "You're better. You're walking." "Yes, dear heart, I am," she replied, her voice thick with emotion. For a moment, she knelt, looking into his bright eyes, wishing to shield him from the complexities she now faced. Around them, cheers erupted. Villagers embraced one another, their hands raised in glorified surrender, a whirlwind of spirit weaving through the air. Sarah could hear snippets of chatter rising above the jubilant noise. "A true miracle! How wondrous is our God! Look at the works he has done." Old Martha stepped forward again, her voice trembling yet strong. This is only the beginning, dear friends. Let us remember this day. Let us carry this light with us. For it is not just for Sarah, but for our entire village. God is moving in ways we have yet to comprehend. As everyone nodded fervently, Sarah's eyes caught a glimpse of Joshua standing at the back, lingering. His unsure expression troubled her. Joshua, the local blacksmith, had always been a pragmatic man, a believer, yet one who kept his feet firmly planted on the ground. She had often seen the skepticism in his eyes, a contrast to the faith surrounding them now. But today, she sensed an alteration in him, a flicker of hope wrestling with doubt. "Joshua," she called out, her voice firm, a thread weaving through the swathe of excitement. He looked up, surprised, as if pulled from a distant thought. "Come, join us. God has done this for all of us." He hesitated, a battle played out in his features, hope mixed with uncertainty. She could almost see him cradling a question in his heart. What she didn't realize was that as he stepped forward, the village's conversation shifted, delving into deeper themes of faith and miracles, awakening a dormant need for belief in many who questioned. I want to believe," Joshua began, his voice unsteady yet earnest. "But can such a thing truly happen? What if this is fleeting? Faith seems fragile from afar, but up close it's a mighty force," Sarah replied, channeling the love flowing through her. "It asks not for certainty but for a willing heart. You aren't alone in doubt, but God walks alongside you in every moment." As she spoke, the atmosphere thickened again. This time, it was as if the chapel itself became alive, cradling each word with an unmistakable warmth. The villagers, caught in the ripple of this shared struggle, began murmuring their own stories of doubt and belief, casting their fears against the divine promise. Questions rose like smoke, igniting a powerful dialogue on faith that drew them deeper together. What would it mean for their lives and their community if this miracle sparked a deeper revelation? What unseen paths lay ahead that could transform their lives even more drastically than they imagined? Above it all, Sarah noticed a glow encircling the church, a looming presence that both comforted and mystified her. The sense that more awaited her was palpable. Questions gnawed at her spirit. The divine tapestry of this moment felt incomplete, like pieces of a puzzle still scattered. The day unfolded, but the true revelation lingered just beyond their grasp, enticing every heart to step further into faith's embrace as new challenges and mysteries awaited them just around the corner. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting a golden hue over the village, the air thrummed with anticipation. Sarah could feel an undercurrent of energy, like the earth awakening beneath her feet. The villagers, emboldened by the miracle of her healing, began to gather in circles, their voices tumbling over each other as they sought to understand the significance of the day. "Did you hear Martha?" she said. "This is just the beginning," whispered Eliza, her hands clasped in fervent prayer, eyes shimmering with excitement. "True," replied Thomas, a farmer with sun-weathered skin. "But what does it mean for us? For our lives?" Sarah listened, her heart swelling. They were opening themselves to a new dawn, wrestling with their faith's deepening roots. Yet, the worry in Joshua's eyes remained. He stood at the edges, arms crossed, as if protecting himself from the very light they celebrated. "Joshua," Sarah reached out again, her voice cutting through the murmurs. "Come forward, share your heart. We are family here." He stepped closer, hesitance painted on his brow. "But what if this miracle fades? What if—" He struggled to find the words, eyes cast down. "What if it isn't real?" Her heart ached for him. Belief isn't anchored in what we see, but in how we choose to embrace what God offers. Look at the love spilling from our hearts today. It is as real as the air we breathe, she implored, invoking the shared emotions swirling among them. Around them, villagers began to nod, each understanding sinking deeper into their souls. Joshua took a breath, his shoulders relaxing slightly as if the weight of the world had begun to lift. A gentle breeze drifted through the open chapel doors, and Sarah felt a shiver. This too is a gift. She turned, arms outstretched toward the village, It's the Spirit of God moving around us, inviting us to believe, to embrace. Let us not shy away from the truth before us. In that sacred moment, something shifted. Conversations sparked brightly. Shared testimonies began to rise, igniting inspiration across the crowd. Old pains and new hopes intermingled, voices lifting stories so personal yet echoing the universal journey of faith. I struggled for years with doubt. Martha opened, her voice wavering. But today, I see hope in Sarah's face, something I thought lost. With every word spoken, the collective faith deepened. They grappled with the reality of the miraculous, peeling back layers of skepticism, their hearts beginning to resonate with a new understanding of what it meant to trust. Sarah's spirit soared. How could she have believed this day would merely be about her? Every word spoken wove them closer, knitting their hearts into a vibrant tapestry of divine purpose. But still, she sensed something profound lingered, much like an unfinished symphony. An invitation pulsed with urgency. People seized the moment, scattering into smaller groups filled with laughter and newfound connections. Children played nearby, their giggles a sweet reminder of innocence and renewal. As Sarah watched her son, joy blossomed within her. But beneath the surface, an unshakable yearning surged. There was more deep mysteries to unravel, teachings yet to share. She felt the pull of a journey ahead, one that led beyond her village, a calling wrapped in whispers of hope. Let us be open to what comes next. She called to the crowd, her spirit ignited. What if together we seek the purpose hidden in this miracle? What if we dared to explore? The villagers began to murmur again, eyes bright with eagerness and questions, hearts moving as one. Then, amid the joyous chatter, Sarah felt a swift change in the air. A sudden chill crept in, battling the warmth of their celebration. The glow that had bathed the chapel dimmed for an instant, and fear threatened to edge its way into their hearts. This felt significant. The shadows lurking at the edge of their joy stirred ominously, hinting at challenges they did not yet understand. As uncertainty wrapped its fingers around the moment, Sarah realized she must embrace this mystery. Perhaps we are called to walk this path together, she declared, and whatever comes, we shall face it as one. The village echoed back in a whispering wave of agreement, yet shadows still lingered. What awaited them next? Would their renewed faith withstand the looming doubts threatening to overshadow their miracle? As the sun dipped below the horizon, the sacred questions hung in the air, urging them forward into the night and into whatever awaited. The darkness settled softly around the village, cradling it in a quiet hush. Candles flickered to life as if ignited by the flickers of hope that danced within each heart. Sarah stood at the forefront, the warmth of their trust enveloping her like a comforting blanket. Yet, she could feel the tension building, like tightly coiled springs waiting to unleash their energy. Can we truly face whatever comes next? Someone whispered, a voice laced with uncertainty. It was Mary, her brow furrowed in contemplation. We must believe, Sarah replied, her voice steady, bolstered by an inner strength she didn't entirely understand. Together we can overcome anything. Love is louder than doubt. Hope is stronger than fear. We are not alone in this. Around her, lanterns began to glow brighter, illuminating faces eager to hear what Sarah would say next. Joshua shifted his weight, still uncertain but inching closer, his gaze searching for answers among the shadows. I feel a stir within me. There is a call to deeper faith, he admitted, light breaking through his insecurities. The words flowed softly at first but built to a crescendo of understanding and desire to believe. Sarah's heart soared at his willingness to confront his doubt. Then let us not just gather as a village. Let us become a unified force for good. What if our journey leads to a greater purpose? Greater purpose? Martha echoed thoughtfully. Are we prepared for what that entails? As if in response, the winds shifted, carrying whispers of something greater. The night air crackled with anticipation, and the villagers leaned in, instinctively drawn toward the collective hope blooming among them. Suddenly, from the back of the crowd, a voice rose, hesitant but fervent. It was Timothy, the quiet fisherman known for his keen eyes. What if our purpose becomes a burden? He asked, eyebrows knitted together in genuine concern. What if we end up in deeper shadows? I feel the weight, the expectation. Sarah paused, the weight of his question echoing in the night, a reminder that faith was not without its challenges. Every journey has its burdens, Timothy, she acknowledged. But remember, each step we take together will light the path for those who walk with us. We might not know every answer, but we can trust the journey. A collective sigh swept through the crowd. They stood on the precipice of their fears and aspirations. Together they shared one heart, thumping in rhythm with the pulse of hope. As they looked at one another, their resolve solidified, like stones set in a firm foundation. Then, unexpectedly, a brilliant star burst forth in the night sky, brightening the world around them. Gasps and whispers of awe rippled through the villagers as they marveled at the celestial dance above. Sarah felt a wave of emotion wash over her. Could this be a sign? It is a celestial reminder, she announced, her voice rising confidently above the murmur, that we are part of a beautiful tapestry woven by the Creator himself. Each star has its purpose, and so do we. As their eyes turned skyward, the air thick with anticipation, new questions unfurled. Would they take the leap of faith? In that moment, the shadows seemed to recede slightly, chased away by the light reflecting from the hearts filled with trust. Yet, Sarah felt the stirring of deeper mysteries lingering. Not everything was as simple as it seemed. What if our next steps reveal truths we are not yet ready to face? A corner voice echoed, stirring the quiet. Together they stood at the brink of revelation, hearts pounding in synchrony, pondering what profound lessons lay ahead. Could they truly embrace the forthcoming unknown? Would they find strength in the challenges that beckoned? Or would they fade before the radiance of hope? As the vibrations of their faith mingled with the shimmering night, they prepared to navigate the uncharted waters of a divine adventure. What awaited them beyond the light? Only time would tell. The air crackled with a tension that was both palpable and exhilarating. The villagers stood united beneath the resplendent starfield, their hopes glimmering like the lights overhead. Sarah noticed the trembling resolve in their faces, a mixture of fear and excitement that painted each expression with bold strokes. Let us share our dreams, Sarah urged, sensing the power of their collective spirit. What do you see when you imagine our greater purpose? Martha stepped forward first, her voice quivering yet firm. I see a path to healing, a chance to mend what has been broken, within our hearts and in our community. A fire alit in the villagers' eyes, igniting a wave of shared desires. Others began to speak, sharing visions that flourished like blossoms in spring. I see us feeding the hungry, embracing those who feel lost, chimed in Judith, her spirit lifting as she spoke. Building bridges where once there were walls, added Joshua, growing bolder. To be a light for those wandering through darkness. As their dreams interwove, the lanterns around them danced, flickering in response to the budding hope within each heart. It was a symphony of aspirations, each note resonating with truth. The heaviness Timothy had expressed was now met with something richer, and understanding that the burdens they carried might transform into blessings. Then, a sudden gust swept through, scattering a few leaves that had clung to branches. A rustle passed through the gathering, as if the very air were listening. Have you ever wondered, Timothy spoke again, voice steady now, if the challenges will mold us differently? What if we face trials we never anticipated? Quiet settled over the group as the weight of his question hung in the air, almost like a heavy fog. Sarah could feel uncertainty return, a reminder that faith often walked hand in hand with the unknown. Trials are part of any great journey, she replied gently, seeking to comfort. But remember, friends, it is through trials that we are refined. Each test can bring clarity, leading us closer to our purpose. Timothy mulled over her words, wrestling with his fears and hopes. It was clear he wanted to believe, yet the shadows of doubt still loomed. Just then, the sky flickered again, as if the stars were winking knowingly. A subtle warmth enveloped the villagers, wrapping them in comfort and divine reassurance. They turned upward once more, eyes wide with wonder. Sarah spoke. Her words flowed with an unexpected surge of inspiration. Look at the heavens. Each star is a testimony of perseverance, of journeys undertaken. Just as these stars blend into a wondrous tapestry, so too will our journey unite us in unparalleled ways. Hope bloomed anew, brighter than the starlit sky above. Revelations dawned within their hearts. They were part of a story larger than life written by divine hands, intertwined in an exquisite narrative of love and purpose. Emboldened, each villager felt a heartfelt chorus rising within. They began to join hands, a circle of faith expanding outward, binding them closer together. Let us embrace whatever comes, Joshua exclaimed, the hunger for truth evident in his tone. Together we are stronger. But just as the enthusiasm peaked, a distant rumble rolled through the night. It echoed off the mountains, a reminder of the challenges lying ahead. What awaits us beyond this moment? Sarah wondered, voice barely above a whisper. What secrets will we uncover? The air thickened with anticipation, the villagers clinging to each other, hearts swelling with a mixture of bravery and trepidation. In their eyes shone light, yet shadows still danced at the edges of their newfound hope. Are you ready for the journey ahead? Sarah asked, her heart racing. The crowd roared with affirmation, yet uncertainty hung delicately over them like a shimmering thread. What moment of divine revelation awaited them? And what mysteries lay beneath the shimmering surface of their hopeful hearts? The night held its breath as they prepared to step into the unknown. As the villagers held hands, a gentle breeze whisked through the gathering, lifting their spirits even higher. The fading sunlight painted the horizon with hues of gold and violet, a divine canvas welcoming the night. In this sacred space, they felt a surge of unity, a heartbeat of hope pulsing through the circle they formed. That rumble, it feels like a call, Martha observed, her brow furrowing slightly, like something is about to break free, something powerful. It makes me think of the birth of a child, Judith added softly, her eyes sparkling. There is pain, yes, but out of that pain comes new life, new beginnings. Sarah nodded, inspired by their reflections. Exactly. The dawn will always follow the darkest night. Each struggle we face is an opportunity to grow, an invitation from the divine. The stars above them twinkled brightly, as if in agreement. The villagers glanced upward, and for a moment, time seemed to stand still. Each shining point felt like a promise, a reminder that they were never alone in their journey. Have you noticed, friends? Timothy interjected, his earnest eyes alive with revelation. The very sky, the very stars, witness our struggles and triumphs. They hold our dreams within their light. The group murmured in agreement, inspired by his poignant words. Trust began to unfurl in their hearts like petals beneath the sun. We are woven into this cosmic fabric, Joshua declared, excitement rising in his voice, shimmering in the air around them. Let us allow our voices to reach the heavens. Let us declare our purpose. Taking a deep breath, Sarah felt a fire ignite within her. Yes. Together, we shall cry out our dreams into the night. We shall let them echo through the valleys and ring through the mountains. Our voices are instruments of faith. As they began to chant, their voices intertwined into a harmonious chorus. The sound soared, wrapping around them like a warm embrace, lifting their spirits into the night. Bless this village, they called out. Guide our hearts. Bring healing to our land. The fervor of their pleas seemed to draw the heavens nearer. And then, in a moment that seemed to stretch beyond time, a brilliant flash erupted across the night sky, illuminating the faces of the villagers. Gasps of awe erupted from the gathering. Was it a shooting star? A celestial display? All they knew was that in that moment, they felt an unmistakable connection to something greater than themselves. Did you see that? Martha exclaimed, eyes wide. It felt like a blessing. Sarah's heart raced. The heavens are pouring out encouragement. Friends, they have heard us. What if this is a sign of what's to come? Timothy's voice trembled with quiet excitement. What if we are on the verge of revealing our true purpose? What if this is merely the beginning? As if in response to his words, A distant melody began to drift through the air, a gentle sound that seemed to dance between the stars. It was ethereal, like voices echoing from far beyond, inviting them deeper into the mystery that enveloped them. But what lies beneath that melody? Judith pondered aloud, tilting her head as she listened intently. A collective silence fell over the group as they strained to hear. With bated breath, they awaited what revelation might come next, ready to embrace the journey unfolding before them. What mysteries lay veiled in that enchanting song? And what truth was being beckoned to their hearts among the stars? The night deepened, wrapping the villagers in its tranquility, as the haunting melody seemed to swirl around them. Each note carried whispers, secrets of the universe that beckoned their hearts to open further. What is that sound? Timothy breathed, eyes wide, captivated by the enchanting allure. It feels familiar, like a call to our very souls. Sarah pressed her hand against her heart, feeling its rhythm dance with the melody. Maybe it's the music of our dreams lifting up to the heavens, she whispered, her voice barely audible above the celestial chorus. A reminder that something larger is at play. As they strained to listen, the melodies transformed into clear words, blessings and affirmations, echoing with the weight of prophetic promise. Each word felt like a warm embrace from the divine, a beckoning for faith, for courage, for love. I feel it too, Judith exclaimed, her voice filled with a mix of joy and wonder. It's as if God is singing over us. The villagers shared glances, a collective realization twinkling in their eyes. They were not just bystanders. They were participants in this sacred dance. Each flicker of the stars felt like a heartbeat, a pulsing reminder of their purpose. We are called friends, Joshua declared, passion flaring in his chest. Every struggle we've faced, every tear we've shed, has led us to this moment, this divine orchestration. Martha raised her arms, as if to rally them further into the night. Let us not hold back. If this is how we are meant to respond, let us give our hearts to this song. Let it flow through us. With renewed faith, they linked hands once more, forming an unbreakable chain of belief. Their voices swelled with the melody, each person contributing their unique note to a symphony of hope and expectation. Bring forth healing, they cried. Show us our way. The sky danced in response, drawing close as brilliant streaks of light crisscrossed above them, blessings manifesting from the very fabric of creation. Each flash ignited the air with an electric energy, as if the heavens themselves were affirming their prayer. The wind picked up, swirling around their circle, carrying their voices into the vastness of night. It lifted their spirits high, inviting them to trust in the uncharted path ahead. I can feel the weight of the divine presence, Sarah murmured, wiping away tears of joy. It washes over us like a shower of grace, renewing us, transforming us. What if this is truly the beginning? Asked Timothy, a tremor in his voice. What if every word we've spoken together is plantings of seeds in a new garden? A garden blessed to bloom with miraculous fruit? Well, friend, Judith replied softly, her eyes alight with faith. That garden starts right here, right now. In this very moment of our unity. The melody shifted again, latching onto something deeper, a love that transcended words. A truth that was unfurling before them like a rose blooming beneath the gaze of sunlight. It promised that each villager was cherished, chosen, and part of a divine tapestry. Each thread imbued with purpose in that sacred space. They understood a revelation had woven itself through them that night. The air thrummed with possibilities, wrapping them in divine potential. But what happens next? Martha whispered, glancing at the others, unsure yet was filled with anticipation. As the last echoes of the melody faded into the night, a stillness enveloped them. It felt as if the universe paused, waiting, holding its breath for what would come next. In that silence, they felt it. A stirring deep within their spirits, an invitation to step into the great unknown. What awaited them on that journey? What would they discover about themselves and the divine plan unfolding around them? Only time would tell. The moon hung low, casting a silvery glow over the villagers as they stood in awe, their hearts beating in sync. Flickering shadows danced around them, mingling with the whispers of the night. The silence was pregnant with expectation, a breathing pause in the rhythm of life. Timothy broke the stillness, voice steady yet trembling with excitement. "Can anyone feel it?" he asked, eyes shining. "It's like the air is charged with something alive." Judith smiled, her spirit pulsing with joy. "It's the promise of what is to come. We can't turn back now. Destiny is unfolding right in front of us." As the words left her lips, a gentle breeze swept through the villagers, carrying with it the scent of blooming jasmine, sweet and invigorating. They felt a stirring deep within, a sense of urgency to embrace the unknown calling them. "Look," Sarah pointed toward the heavens, where a radiant star burst forth, brighter than the rest, illuminating the night sky like a beacon of hope. "That star, do you see its brilliance? It feels almost like a sign." Martha gazed upward in wonder. "It's as if the heavens are responding to our prayers. We've tapped into something profound," she said, clasping her hands tighter around those of her friends. Together, they closed their eyes, sinking deeper into prayer. Their voices intertwined, melding into a harmonious plea. "Guide us, Lord, illuminate our path, reveal to us your purpose." With each word spoken, the star above seemed to pulse in rhythm with their intention, sending ripples of light cascading through the dark. Suddenly, a quiet rustle emerged from the edge of the trees. All eyes turned there, hearts racing in anticipation. Out stepped a figure, cloaked in shimmering white light, cascading down like soft feathers. The air vibrated with an indescribable presence. It was as if time itself had bent, allowing this gift to emerge from beyond the veil. "Fear not," the figure spoke, voice like soft music, echoing through the stillness, striking deep chords within their hearts. "I come to illuminate the path before you, to affirm what you have awakened within yourself." A collective gasp escaped the villagers. Judith whispered, "Could this truly be an angel?" "Indeed," the figure nodded, glancing around at each face alight with wonder. "You have been chosen, each thread of your lives intricately woven into a divine purpose. Every tear, every laugh, every moment of unity here tonight has culminated in this revelation." The villagers exchanged glances, the weight of words pressing down on them like warm sunlight. "Embrace the gifts stirring in your hearts," the angel continued, eyes sparkling with divine light. "You are instruments meant to heal, uplift, and inspire. The world is weary, and your love bears the seed of change." Timothy stepped forward, heart racing. "But what must we do? What is our first step?" The figure raised a hand, palm outwards. "Begin by nurturing the seeds you've planted tonight. When the morning light breaks, seek those in need. Share your faith openly. Let each act of kindness be a note in the beautiful song of heaven. Your journey shall reveal the deeper mysteries ahead. Each step of faith is a revelation," the angel concluded, vibrant energies radiating from its presence. As the light grew brighter, enveloping the villagers, they took a collective breath soaked in the potency of this moment. They felt renewed purpose pulse through their veins, longing for transformation and healing to begin. With shared resolve, they turned as one to leave the halo of the sacred circle, driven by an unspoken promise to step boldly into the unknown. But unbeknownst to them, dark clouds gathered on the horizon. What shadows would challenge their unity? What doubts might yet arise on this sacred journey? As the first hint of dawn flickered in the distance, a question lingered in the air: would their newfound faith endure the trials to come? The dawn unfurled like a beautiful promise over the village. Rays of sunlight streamed into the chapel, blessing every soul gathered there. Sarah stood at the forefront, her heart still buzzing with the echoes of last night's divine encounter. The angel's words whispered through her mind, igniting a fervor within her spirit. This day was destined for miracles. Outside the chapel, the village stirred awake, faces washed in the golden light, ready to embrace their calling. Sarah could feel the weight of responsibility settling upon her shoulders, but she also embraced it with joy. Today was not just about her healing. It was about igniting hope across their community. "Today we shall act," she declared, gathering the villagers around her. "We must seek those in need, those who feel lost or alone. The crowd nodded, determination flickering in their eyes. They were no longer talking of change. They were ready to be changed. Martha stepped forward, her aged hands trembling with excitement. Let us visit the elderly in the village, those abandoned in their homes. They deserve our love and attention. Cheers rose like a melody, echoing around them. Judith quickly chimed in, and the children at the orphanage. Let us bring them our warmth and laughter. As ideas flowed, Joshua's brow furrowed. He stepped into the light and spoke. Friends, let us not just talk. We need to act. This is our time to step out in faith. Before he could finish, the children near the chapel began to gather, drawn by the infectious energy in the air. Timothy, bursting with enthusiasm, shouted, "Let us form groups. We can tackle each task together." Each villager lit up with purpose, knowing that today's journey was merely the beginning of their bright awakening. Working hand in hand, they split into teams, hearts wide open and spirits soaring. Joy infused every interaction. The laughter of children mingled with the songs of gratitude as they spread through the village, offering their love and compassion. Each moment shimmered with the touch of the divine. But as the day progressed, storms gathered in the distance. Dark clouds rolled ominously over the region, stirring a sense of foreboding. Sarah felt it, the shift in atmosphere. But she took a deep breath, shaking off the unsettling feeling. Our faith is stronger than any storm, she proclaimed to those around her. Yet doubts began to creep into the hearts of some. Old fears and skepticism festered. Whispers circulated, asking whether they could truly change anything. Joshua struggled behind the congregation, wrestling with the very shadows of doubt he had sought to overcome. At that moment, Sarah stepped toward him, reading the conflict in his eyes. Joshua, faith is not a question of certainty but a journey of trust, she said gently, her voice a steady balm for his troubled heart. Look at what we have accomplished together. Focus on our actions, not fears. His gaze softened, the stirring of hope igniting within him once more. You're right, Sarah. I see it in our unity, the smiles of children and the light in our elders' eyes. The clouds rumbled again, threatening to spill their burdens. Fear hung heavy in the air, but Sarah raised her hands, gathering the villagers. Together we have stood strong. This storm cannot shake us. We have been chosen, and we will shine our light. Suddenly, as if in response to her declaration, a break in the clouds occurred. A beam of sunlight burst through, illuminating Sarah's face and casting a warm glow over the villagers. Their hearts leaped at the sight, a divine confirmation of their purpose. Realizing the power of their unity, Sarah clutched Joshua's arm. Together, let us embrace the challenges. Let us share our stories, our struggles, and our dreams. As voices rose in affirmation, they felt renewed courage surging through them. They sang praises, unwavering in their commitment, their vulnerability transforming into strength. And just then, amidst their celebration, another figure emerged from the shadows, a man with eyes filled with uncertainty, a solemnity shadowing his features. Whispers spread through the crowd as they recognized the village skeptic. How can you believe? He challenged, his voice low but clear. What proof do you have that this miracle is real? A hush fell over the group, uncertainty creeping back like a tide. But Sarah stepped forward, heart steady. Faith doesn't require proof. It requires a heart willing to believe. Even in the face of doubt, we continue to walk together. We don't carry this weight alone. Timothy spoke up, emboldened by her words. Others nodded, rallying behind her, creating a fortress of encouragement around her. As the man looked around, he saw the faces lit with hope, the light pouring from their hearts. You think you can change everything, he said quietly, yet uncertainty lingered around his words. Together, we can illuminate the darkest corners of this village, Sarah said. If one candle can pierce the night, imagine what we can achieve as a flame burning bright. Join us and see. After a long moment, a flicker of recognition glimmered in his eyes. And just like that, an invisible bond formed, reminding everyone present that faith could spark change. Even within the reluctant heart of the skeptic, as the storm clouds began to disperse, Sarah recognized something deeper at play. The challenges they faced would mold them, refining every belief into something beautiful. She knew there was still work to be done, but the road was clearer than ever. "Let us not lose sight of our mission, friends," she beckoned. "We each are part of this grand movement, woven together by faith, empowered to reveal divine love in action. Who we became today echoes into tomorrow." The sun shone fully, bathing them all in warmth, a divine affirmation that their journey toward transformation was illuminating the path ahead. The day closed with laughter and shared meals, the seeds of change sown deep within hearts. Relationships were reborn through love and honesty. Hope sprouted in every smile exchanged. And as twilight descended, a collective sigh washed over the village, a gentle reminder that together, they were destined to walk boldly into the unfolding mystery. Their radiant purpose, ignited through faith, glimmered against the backdrop of the night. They were now a living testament, ready to tell their stories, their hearts echoing in unity fueled by belief, emboldened by love, a glorious mosaic shining bright against the canvas of creation. The journey had just begun and the world awaited their light. Now is time to take action. You need to subscribe now to the channel to not miss the next exclusive faith stories that will transform your life forever. Leave a like now and help us feed the algorithm so more souls can be reached by the divine message. Comment your reactions and testimonies about this moving conclusion. Let your voice be heard. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this glorious manifestation. Spread the light.